it comes to anxiety and panic attacks and anxiety, once again, we're talking almost the same biology that causes some people to experience chronic depression. It's the inability to cope with what's going on in your life. And particularly, I used to have so much anxiety. You know, if you've seen me on stage, I'm completely at ease with 10,000 people or 30 people. It's 2 people, 1 person. No anxiety at all. I actually maybe don't have any anxiety in my life for 30 years. And where that came from, you have to get where I came from. My first talk I gave was on transcendental meditation. I was the youngest teacher of transcendental meditation. I was 18 back in the 60s. And I memorized my talk and I stood in front of the audience. I had so much anxiety. I was sick before the talk. When I stood in front of the audience, literally the room began to spin and I fainted. That's how much anxiety I had. And I have to say that meditation did not heal my anxiety. I could go into meditation and feel fine, but if I had to come out and do something, I had all this anxiety. And it was the emotional processing that helped free me of that, along with the extra nutrition. Again, I did both things together. Again, the most powerful thing is lithium orotate, because what lithium orotate, calcium, magnesium, and zinc, and all these orotates, minerals for the brain, is they will stop repetitive thinking. So lithium is really good at stopping looping. So usually anxiety is built because your brain loops around, either consciously or unconsciously. What could happen, or what's wrong with me, or I'm not good enough. It'll just loop. And it's like a record that just keeps starting over and over and over. And lithium will stop that.
Perfect, thank you so much. Perfect. And just quickly with lithium, people know, the reason why people know the word is because of lithium batteries. It's the same word?
Yeah, it's the same lithium. Yeah. It's just a different form.
Okay.
There are lithium batteries, and it's not a heavy metal. Lithium is a mineral, and it's an alkalizing mineral, and everything is about dosage and what it's bonded to. Now, lithium is so powerful that if you have bipolar and you're schizophrenic and you give someone lithium, it will take away all those symptoms, but it will have side effects, because they're using an inferior form of lithium. They're using lithium carbonate. Lithium carbonate doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier. Just like all mineral supplements, doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier unless you just give the body 100 to 500 times the dose that you need. So when you give your body 500 times the dose of anything, you're going to have problems. 500 times the dose of magnesium, you'll die of diarrhea. 500 times the dose of calcium, you'll have a heart attack. 500 times the dose of potassium, all these things would be toxic. Well, 500 times the dose of lithium is toxic. So people are all afraid of lithium. All this research online, look up lithium, dangerous, side effect, bad. Well, yeah, what doctors give is bad, but it does take away these symptoms. But Dr. Hans Nieper from Germany, he discovered take the right dose, a very tiny, 4.5 milligrams, that's all. 4.5 to 25 milligrams, one in that range. Bond it to orotic acid, it becomes lithium orotate. Lithium orotate, you take it immediately, your brain works better. I'm talking kids who are like hyper and doing all this and whining and crying. They start doing this, they calm down, and doesn't dull you in any way. It doesn't take away creativity in any way. When you take lithium carbonate, it does dull you, it does calm you down, but it dulls you and it lowers your metabolism because it attacks your thyroid gland. It's a salt. Too much salt will attack your thyroid gland. Lithium orotate doesn't. And magnesium orotate, also necessary in the brain. Calcium orotate, also necessary in the brain. Potassium orotate, also necessary in the brain. And zinc orotate, also necessary in the brain. These are your 5 most powerful minerals for the brain to function. And I'll give you a little summary of how your brain works. You have to make dopamine and serotonin. You have to make choline. You have to make to feel good. And you have to make GABA. That's all regulated by dopamine, by lithium. So think about, let's simplify this down to serotonin, calmness, dopamine, accelerator, both those things being produced.
Now you just mentioned, how does somebody consume those 5 minerals, or zinc, and so the 5 minerals that you mentioned, and you mentioned to combine it with a certain type of acid.
Yes.
Yeah, so what does that
they're
look like?
available. They're called mineral orotates.
Okay, so you just, like, somebody can look that up.
If you look under super minerals, you can see then some products have all 5 in there. Yeah. And so you get all 5 super minerals.
And then it will have this other acid that bonds
Yeah,
it?
it's called mineral orotates, lithium orotate. Orotic acid becomes orotate when it binds with lithium. It binds with magnesium, it binds with calcium. Even calcium orotate, people's hunger cravings go away. I mean, these are like amazing things. You know, when I have people do fasting cleanses, I say just make sure to do super minerals 5 times a day. Have your water or your tea, put in your MCT oil, you won't be hungry. And then you give your body a chance, your digestion a rest, so that the body can go into clean out system.
Excellent. So what a great solution. So then people can then just take this in supplement form. So they're taking capsules which have these minerals in them. Not expensive.
Nope.
People can do it from the safety of their home. No side effects.
None.
Have you been enjoying this series? My wife and I feel so honored that we're able to bring this to you. We know how much it changes lives because it's changed our own life. We're here to show you that there is hope. There are tools and strategies that you need to be using today in order to not only protect your health, but to also come against depression, anxiety, mental health issues, and also neurodegenerative issues like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and macular degeneration. These things are serious conditions that we all face today as human beings being alive today. And my hope, my prayer is that you continue in this journey, that it doesn't end here. And that's why we want to make this available to you. We've created a really special offering right now so you can walk away, take the series with you, keep it in your own home library, and also so you can share it with your friends, your family members, and get access to extra tools that we have prepared for those that have chosen to support the mission. The extra tools include the ability to read the transcripts, either the physical book or the digital online access, the ability to watch the episodes as much as you like, the ability to have the DVD set in your own home to pop into your DVD player, the ability to join us live on our question and answer calls as we go through modules with you to show you each step that you need to take step by step, and you go through with a group of people all committed to health and healing. You get that encouragement from other people like-minded to help lift you up, to help give you answers. And you learn directly from our doctors and experts where you can ask questions, your own question, audibly on the line, or write your question and have your question answered as you go through this journey in our live question and answer calls with our doctors that happen weekly when you take action today during our module series that follows this amazing series. It's awesome, it's amazing. We're dealing with mental health issues on those calls, and we're dealing with neurodegenerative diseases, and we're collecting the best protocols that will help you approach both of these sets of diseases, both the mental health issues and the neurodegenerative issues. These are wonderful tools, synergistic, it works together, and it's helping you heal. So enjoy this episode as we help you heal, help you understand the root causes and the root solutions, the root core solutions that help you to answer the underlying factors for why these conditions may be happening in your life or the life of someone you love, so you can address them, uproot them, supply your body with the vitamins, the nutrients, the vital phytochemicals that it needs, and then expect amazing changes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to you enjoying and getting results from what you learn in this very episode.
One of the nutrients I would really like to talk about is magnesium. Magnesium is present in a lot of different things, but statistics have shown that only 25% of the population in the United States is actually getting the required amount of magnesium. According to studies, magnesium requirement for women is between 300 to 320 milligrams per day, and in men it's between 400 to 420 milligrams a day. But many of us are not even getting 200 milligrams, if any, from the diet that we're eating. Magnesium is found in different kinds of plants, and one of the highest sources of magnesium is present in nuts like almonds and cashews and walnuts, and in dark green leafy vegetables like spinach and watercress and dandelions, and grains like buckwheat and millet. And when we ingest our food, when we ingest our food, we have to make sure that we cook it right or we eat it raw. Depending on the cooking procedures that we do, we might kill the nutrients or the minerals that are present in our food. So we have to be very careful in eating either raw food or just soaking it overnight. When we're ingesting beans, it's advised that we soak our beans overnight to actually break down a layer called phytic acid, which is, one, causes a lot of bloating in our body. Two, when we're ingesting phytic acid, we're not really absorbing all the nutrients well for our food. So to eat magnesium or to be absorbing magnesium, we should try and avoid substances that prevent it from absorption. Some substances enhance the absorption of magnesium, and some of those are like vitamin D and vitamin K, and they help us absorb the vitamin better because of the fat solubility or the high vitamin K that we're actually absorbing with our vitamins. Why magnesium? Why are we talking about magnesium? Researchers found out that 3,000 different protein binding sites actually use magnesium. And in the different biochemical reactions in our body, we use magnesium to produce 300 different enzymes in our body. When we have deficiency of magnesium, we end up having muscle aches, bone aches, depression, we have fatigue, we have weakness, because magnesium helps in forming energy in our body, which is the ATP in our body. And if you're not producing energy in the mitochondria or of the cell that is present in our body, then we are not having energy, and so that's why we are fatigued and we have weakness. Magnesium is also used in the cell membranes of our body, and so that's why when we do not have magnesium in our body, we're actually having leaky brain syndrome, where all the nutrients are being absorbed, but they're not being absorbed in the right place and causing the right reactions to take place to release the right neurotransmitters. Magnesium is one of the nutrients that is used in producing serotonin, which is the happy hormone, and that's why when we are deficient in magnesium, we end up having depressive symptoms and anxiety in our body. And that's why magnesium has been found out to be a very essential nutrient required for bodily functions. And magnesium, like I said, has been present in a lot of different vegetables and a lot of different fruit, but you have to be very careful when you ingest it and you're washing it and you're consuming it. And sometimes, though we get it, our soil right now, because of all the pesticides we're using and because of all the excess and mass production of food, does not have enough magnesium left in the soil to actually be absorbed by the plant. So many of the plants now, as opposed to 500 or even 1,000 years ago, have only half the amount of magnesium that they actually used to have. So when you ingest a whole cup of spinach or almonds or cashews, instead of getting 500 milligrams of magnesium, you're only having 200 milligrams of magnesium. And that's why magnesium now is also supplemented in capsules forms or in tincture form or in different extracts of magnesium that is actually useful and required for our body, for all our bodily functions. Because there's so many different kinds of magnesium available, what is the magnesium that's right for you? There's different kinds of magnesium. One of that is magnesium glycinate. There is magnesium oxide. There's magnesium citrate. There's magnesium taurate. What do you choose, and how do you choose what magnesium is right for you? Now, if you are constipated or you have a lot of GI issues or you need to actually expel and have a bowel movement, the magnesium that you need to be taking is like a magnesium citrate or a magnesium oxide. And so any of these magnesiums help to release the toxins in our body, bulk up our stools, and actually help having a bowel movement. But when you're looking for a magnesium that is good for neuroinflammation or for muscle inflammation in your body, then you're looking for a magnesium called magnesium glycinate. And when you use magnesium glycinate, this is better absorbed. This actually is one of the highest and optimum bioavailable magnesiums that we can actually supplement our bodies with. And so what do I mean by that? As soon as you take the magnesium, it is easily absorbed into our body. All of it that you're taking is absorbed into your body, and it's causing the things that need to be caused in decreasing inflammation. So some of that is magnesium glycinate. Another kind of magnesium called magnesium taurate helps actually to calm and restore your nervous system. So there you go. There's different kinds of magnesiums that you can ingest as a supplement. But the plant magnesium, we still not sure what plant has what magnesium, but eating plants with the different kinds of substances that enhance absorption of magnesium, like I mentioned, vitamin D3 or any fatty substances or oils that you're eating with this dark green leafy vegetables, helps to break down this magnesium and absorb in our body the right way.
What do you see as being the greatest approaches today to come against depression and anxiety?
The greatest things are free. You don't have to buy them.
Yeah.
So diet is your number one thing. So getting off of the grains, the inflammatories, the starches, the processed meats. So diet is critical. Getting your diet right. Sunshine, 30 minutes of sunshine a day is more effective than any antidepressant on the market. So getting your sunshine every day. I'm religious about that. Exercise, 30 minutes a day, is more antidepressant than any antidepressant drug. So it wakes us up, it energizes us, it burns fuel and fat that we need to burn off. There's never been a study where exercise made any disease worse. So whether it's diabetes or cancer or depression, Alzheimer's, exercise improves every last one of them. So exercise is critical, 30 minutes a day. I have to schedule that first thing in the morning because that's the only way it works, because I'm rushing to the end of the day every day and trying to get it all packed in. And so I do mine first thing in the morning when I've got a little time for that. So I get my heart rate up to 150 at least 4 times during my 30 minutes. And that creates bursts of growth hormone and other good hormones, highly beneficial. But getting that heart rate up, and again, check with your doctor or read and study on what is an appropriate heart rate for you at your age to get up to. So exercise, sunlight, diet, social interaction, using your brain, all of these things are major antidepressants. If you start talking about phytonutrients, L-theanine is antidepressant. Curcumin is a major antidepressant. One of those keystone herbals that's so good in so many ways for so many things, but it's definitely an antidepressant. SAMe, that's capital S, capital A, capital M, small e. SAMe is an antidepressant. So all of these things are beautiful antidepressants, virtually no side effects, and just phenomenal agents to be taking. EGCG, which is found in green tea, as well as magnesium L-threonate, are also good antidepressants. So all of those are phenomenal for depression and staying away from that. Lithium orotate, great antidepressant. Natural, you say lithium, oh, that's, no, lithium orotate should be in the foods that we eat, small amounts of it, the right amounts, but you may want to supplement because that's one of the very first minerals to go along with magnesium.
Yeah, magnesium, zinc,
Yep.
and selenium?
Selenium, anti-cancer, antidepressant, just a phenomenal mineral. So we should all be taking those. Selenium is like 200 micrograms. It's just a tiny amount. Magnesium is actually relatively hard to get into the body. That's why magnesium L-threonate is pretty good. And we should probably be taking magnesium as chelates or complexed in other ways. If it says magnesium oxide, that's it's probably not functioning in the body. You're not going to absorb that well. It's not going to give you much magnesium. Think of iron oxide, that's called rust. Think of magnesium oxide, that's oxidized. And so that's pretty non-functional. I mean, if you licked a rusty nail, you wouldn't get any iron. So magnesium oxide is not the magnesium product that you want to be taking. Again, magnesium L-threonate goes to the brain through the blood-brain barrier like other magnesiums do not. So that's keystone is magnesium for the brain function. And the other minerals, selenium, zinc, those are essential.
With lithium, it sounds funny because it's like, is that lithium batteries? What's the difference between those things?
Well, we've been using lithium medically as an antidepressant we've treated bipolar patients for years, manic depressive syndrome for lithium. I mean, decades. That was a mainstay when I was in medical school 100 years ago. So lithium is used as a medicine, but lithium orotate is available over the counter, and we should all be taking some of that. And I don't actually recall the amounts right now, but lithium orotate is a great antidepressant, but a necessary mineral for proper functioning of enzymes in the body.
Awesome. And I've seen some where they get lithium orotate and they put it with zinc and magnesium and I think selenium, but then it's just in that one kind of, in a sense, it's a multivitamin, but it's a real, and if it's good quality source, bam, done, right? And so you've
Absolutely.
And as soon as you start to feel negative emotions, that's stress, that's fight or flight. You deplete the brain of the nutrients it needs. So practical, you're depressed. What you need to do is you need to bulk up on your supplements. The most important supplement to take, if I simplify it down, 25 milligrams of lithium orotate. You go online, it's going to cost you, what is it going to cost you? Maybe $10 for a month's supply if you take 5 of the little capsules. If you take 1 capsule a day and you cut back as you need it, you just take it as is needed. There's no way you're going to overdose on a bottle of lithium orotate. It's not the lithium carbonate that psychiatrists give for depression. And now if you're on a prescribed drug for depression, you can't go off of it. You can still take 25 milligrams of lithium orotate along with your drug. And you talk to your doctor, and because after you start taking these 5 little pills, you'll feel better, and you say to your doctor, I'm feeling better. I'd like to go off of my drug, and with your supervision, I want to titrate off, because you have to slowly go off, and depending upon how long you've been depressed, what your circumstances are, your doctor will know, and it's different for everybody. It might take you 3 months, it might take you 6 months. It may be the rest of your life you need to take just a little bit of that drug, just for different people, different answers. 5 little capsules of lithium orotate. Now, if we didn't have lithium orotate supplements for anxiety, what I would say is completely eliminate sugar and go on a ketogenic diet, and you will not have anxiety. Ketogenic diet will take away anxiety, just like that. I remember back when I did have anxiety, I had to learn, if I was going to teach in front of an audience, I had to not have any sugar the day before, no sweets, no fruit drinks, nothing that raised my blood sugar, because that would really, it's like anxiety feeds on carbohydrates. And ironically, when you have anxious, what do you want to eat? You want to eat the carbohydrates. It's just the way we are as human beings, is when we're out of balance, we do the very things that push us further out of balance.
Next, we should probably talk about some vitamins. B12 would be right up top. You do not want cyanocobalamin, cyano as in cyanide. You want the healthy B12, that would be methylcobalamin or hydroxycobalamin. Hydroxy being more expensive, so methylcobalamin is just fine. But you want to make sure that it's not cyanocobalamin that you're getting. Sublingual is great, or you can take it with other B vitamins. The B vitamins are very important. There's especially one, a type of B1 benfotiamine that's critical in relationship to inflammation and managing sugar. And since Alzheimer's is related to sugar, we want to control that. So that's a great supplement to be taking, especially in the B family.
So let's say I get my lab work done, my urine, and mine come out where everything's low, or well, let's just throw in something. So I've got 2 that are elevated and everything else is almost just underneath the bar, right?
Okay.
So now, what does this mean in terms of what I need
Like,
to
what
do?
am I going to do with you now?
Yeah. And
so let's say that we also looked at your blood work.
Yes.
And maybe even your genetics as well. I would definitely put you on a methylation supplement so that we could give you a special form of B12 and a special form of folate, because taking into consideration that about 90% of Caucasians in the United States have particular gene mutations that are affecting their ability to uptake B12 and folate, that actually causes issues with serotonin and dopamine levels. Okay. So if this were you and you're showing me low serotonin levels and you're Caucasian, I'm definitely going to put you on the B supplements. Now, this is the thing. We all need B supplements anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And most of us in the United States live pretty stressful, unbalanced lives. So we're going through our B vitamins and all of our other vitamins and minerals much faster than we normally would. Most of us are depleted in our B vitamins. So it's not going to hurt you to take one. The difference is that I'm going to give you a stronger dose, and I'm going to give it to you in a more broken down form to make sure that your cells can uptake it, and so that your body can make its brain chemistry and open the detox pathways and do the different things that your body needs to do. So the B vitamins are critical for like over 250 different engines in your body.
Yeah.
They actually require that. So we'll just make sure that we give it to you in a special form. So that's the first thing that I would do.
Perfect. And then just to bring up a study, the study that was done on spinach in the 1950s, one bowl compared to a bowl of spinach, within the last 5 or so years, 10 years, that the comparison was so stark that you had to eat 43 bowls of spinach to equal one from the 1950s. This study was done by the UCLA University. So it's a very serious contemplation when you're trying to work out, well, why don't I have enough? If you're the healthiest, quote unquote, person when it comes to diet, and you're plant-based or you're paleo, and you believe that that's all within your food, then how do you get around that challenge of knowing that we have a reduction in the quality of our food, even with organic? So that's where you don't have to be a purist. Taking a B supplement doesn't mean you're not doing a good enough job through your diet. You're doing the best you can with all the things you have. Why not just get the best out of life and take B supplements aren't expensive. They're cheap supplements. And when I say cheap, I mean like they're affordable to everyone.
They're affordable, and that's absolutely a beautiful point that you made. Our food sources are depleted because our soils have been stripped of all of the nutrients.
Yeah.
And so that's very easy to find that in the research. You can find that. So even if you're eating as many vegetables as you can possibly get into your body every day, it's not going to be uncommon for you to be nutrient deficient.
Yeah.
But to go to the store and figure out what vitamin do I need, or think that, well, let me just cover all the bases and grab a multi. Oftentimes the doses, even in a multi, are not high enough to have a therapeutic effect on your body.
Yeah.
And so I would put you on a methylated B12 and folate, a special form of it.
Great. Which is?
I can't pronounce it. A methylated folate. So
Great.
I would put you on a methylated folate and a methylated B12.
Great, perfect. That's helpful.
The scientific name, I can't remember. But if you say methylated, like, you can find them out there.
Easy, thank you.
And then the other thing that I would do, if we take a look here, your epinephrine levels look really, really high. So this is going to have you in fight or flight. This is just going to increase the anxiety that you have.
Yeah.
It's in turn going to affect your metabolism of your blood sugar, and it's going to throw your blood sugar off. Then,
is this common for people to have high epinephrine levels?
Yes.
Okay.
Then it's going to cause a tertiary cascade effect, and you're going to be waking up at 3 o'clock every morning.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have good sleep. So what we're going to do here is we're going to give some adrenal support.
Great.
And you can do that with ashwagandha, with licorice root. There are different things that you can use.
Adaptogenic herbs.
Adaptogenic herbs, exactly, to help support the adrenals and calm the cortisol response down, which will help bring epinephrine levels down.
Great. So the adrenals will help to balance the epinephrine levels. Okay, that's really helpful to know. And then adaptogenic herbs are really great for a lot of things with mental clarity, performance, sexual drive, like, so your ability to, be intimate with your spouse sometimes can be based on adrenal levels, and so you'll find that they're all, almost every adaptogenic herb is an aphrodisiac. So there's lots of side benefits to taking adaptogens.
Exactly. And then the other thing that I would do here to address the low dopamine and the low norepinephrine and the low PEA would be supplementation.
Which would be which supplements?
So right now I'm using a line by Neuroscience, and we're in the process of developing some of our own lines that we can be maybe more specific with some of the neurotransmitters.
Great.
But I'm sure there are a lot of good brands out there. The one that I'm familiar with, that I've been able to see results with, so I've been very consistent with using it, is the Neuroscience products.
Yeah, and so they've got a supplement that helps to counter the low dopamine effect.
There's a supplement called Excita Plus for low dopamine levels that will also help with low norepinephrine levels.
Great.
You can do a Focus DL for the low PEA levels. You can do a Travacor for low serotonin and GABA levels.
Okay.
Right, and so there are different supplements that will specifically work on different categories, and they're not forcing a change. It's not a pharmaceutical. It's not forcing a change. It's just giving you the ingredients that you need so that your own body's engines will have what they need to make the neurochemistry on its own.
Like, let's say if you had a severe parasitic infection that was leaching all these minerals and from your body, is it possible that they could normalize theoretically?
Theoretically, if there were no nutritional deficiencies, then yes. If you remove the interference, then the body will be able to self-correct. The body can self-correct. Our bodies are incredibly designed, and they will self-correct if they're given, if the body has what it needs, it can self-correct.
Great.
So yeah, if you remove the interferences, if you remove the heavy metals and you remove the parasite infections and you remove the environmental toxins, theoretically the body should come back into normal. But what we see is that most people are nutrient deficient.
Yeah.
So you really need to supplement with nutrients. And when you have specific issues going on in your body, we need to be specific with the type of nutrition that we recommend. Just going out and grabbing a multivitamin isn't necessarily going to be the answer.
Yeah, to people typically, I've almost never found that someone gets a result doing that. So now when it comes to supplements, which supplements should people generally look at if they have depression, anxiety, or another mental illness? What are the ones that are generally lacking, and ways that people can get these either cost effectively and the right types of supplements?
So there are several different brands out there of the methyl B vitamins. So the methylated B vitamins, that's going to be the number one supplement that I would say that you need to get.
Great.
You also want to get yourself on a vitamin D. 99% of us are deficient in our vitamin D in a huge way, and it's been severely underestimated, the secondary problems that happen in the body when you're deficient in vitamin D. So you want to make sure that you're taking a vitamin D also.
What does D stand for? Maybe it stands for deficient.
I know. I don't know.
So just remember that, deficient vitamin D. I'm probably deficient. I will get a test if you want, but if you're not going to get a test, then assume that you might be. Right?
Assume that you might be.
Or
exactly.
Assume that you are, right?
I see probably 2% of the people that I see actually have healthy levels of vitamin D.
Yeah.
And depending on what part of the country or what part of the world that you live in,
yeah.
You know, if you're up in the Northwest or you're up in the Northeast or just even in the Midwest where you have winter for like 9 months out of the year,
yeah.
And you're inside, you're gonna be deficient in your vitamin D.
And to give an illustration, you really love this. In Mongolia, this was like 12 years ago or something like that. I was there and I was with children that had rickets, and for those that understand how rickets works, the bones are so deficient in vitamin D that they bow, and the children, they end up being like half the size of what they're supposed to be. They look half the age that they actually are. Like I was talking to 12-year-olds that literally looked like they were 5 years old, right? And it was all because of the vitamin D deficiency, and children in wheelchairs that no longer can walk because of the rickets. And it was actually in this particular case that I found amazing, a Canadian doctor that introduced sprinkles where he was getting them to sprinkle vitamin D on their food each day.
D or C?
D.
D?
This was D, yeah.
D.
So this was all to counter, this is Mongolia, sun, right? So they were always, clothed in the sun, head to toe, because it's still, anyway, and it was they only get summers for like a month out of the year, the rest is winter. It's just really odd, right? And so they suffer greatly because of the lack of vitamin D, but they supplement, and when they do that, they don't have the issue. And this Canadian doctor was able to reverse it.
That's incredible.
It was touching and beautiful. So just know that, you see this visibly, vitamin D deficiency is really severe, and it is a causative factor for depression, and especially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those would be two very, very basics. And without seeing the results of the test, if you get into a supplement line like neuroscience, where you're specifically trying to address, neurotransmitters, where you're specifically trying to address dopamine or serotonin, that's where you really need the test. I mean, that's the safest way to go about it, because if you get a supplement that's going to help with serotonin levels and it's not a serotonin issue, maybe it's a dopamine issue, then you could potentially make the problem worse.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like
right?
that.
So I would say just those two basics. Believe it or not, it sounds too simple to be true, but those are two basics that run a lot of engines in your body that have to do with your brain chemistry and your overall health. Oh, and a probiotic.
Yeah, please.
Definitely the probiotic. So methyl vitamins, the methyl B vitamins, a probiotic, and the vitamin D.
Brain chemistry is very important, but our whole goal is to create normal brain chemistry by restoring a normal condition and not, emphasizing methods that might be helping serotonin short term, for instance, but are going to deplete the neuron long term, which is what the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors can do. It can actually end up causing a depletion in the very thing that's trying to help over time. And that's why Dr. Whitaker has described that when antidepressants are released in a community, the rates of depression invariably go up after a year. And so what we need to do is create that normal condition. And there are some things that you might be born with. The gene that's most commonly associated with depression is what we call undermethylation. So that makes the serotonin activity less and the dopamine activity less. But there's things like exercise and tryptophan and omega-3 and light therapy that can help us to methylate normally, so we can actually get rid of the undermethylation problem better by using natural modalities that are going to help the issue, rather than medicating it to try to get better serotonin activity short term, which are going to cause some side effects and some complications long term. Yes, well, I mean, there are, the classic essential oils that are essential are your omega-3 oils. And when we get down to essential, there's only two absolutely essential oils, and that's omega-6 and omega-3. And omega-6 are essential, but they're abundant in our food supply. Omega-3 is not as much. But the omega-3 oils help with focus, concentration, they help with mood, they help prevent mania spells, they help prevent depression in the various forms. There's three main forms of omega-3, but they all can have their positive effect.
And where can somebody get omega-3 oil?
Where it comes from is from, some of the omega-3s only come from the plants of the waters. And our body can make those oils from land plants like flaxseed or spinach. But we can get those oils directly from eating fish, which has its risks now because of the toxins that are present in fish, or get it from where the fish get it from, and that's the plants of the waters. So there are preparations called Opti3 that have DHA and EPA in them that are far safer than any fish oil on the planet and have some very positive effect in mental health, and we utilize those quite a bit as well.
Dr. Kinjo, so what types of supplements and naturopathic herbs, essential oils, what types have you seen success with, and would you recommend for certain ailments and conditions?
So the first herb that would really come to mind would be something like St. John's wort. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners, viewers would probably be familiar with that.
I'm not. What is it?
Okay, St. John's wort. It's actually a weed that grows all over the world probably, but up in Washington State where I was, it just grows prolifically as a weed in eastern Washington. But it's a very interesting plant where as it grows, they have small green leaves, and you can actually see, if you hold up the leaf to the sunshine, there are little pockets of essential oils right in that leaf that you can actually visualize when you hold it up to the sun. But a lot of the extracts from St. John's wort in research studies have been shown to be quite effective against depression, even major depression. And unfortunately, some of the studies that have been done in the US, it's kind of 50-50. It might work, it might not work, but there have been some excellent studies coming out from Europe where they've had some very positive studies. And they come right out and they say St. John's wort is as effective as prescription medicines for some types of depression, even major depression.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. And they say that it's better than placebo, definitely, and it might be comparable to some of the drug medications, without the side effects that drugs are known for. Yeah.
So then how does somebody, it's St. John's wort.
W-O-R-T.
Okay, because I was thinking wart like a wart on the skin.
Yes, that's right.
W-O-R-T.
Okay, so St. John's wort, usually it's available without a prescription or anything. You can just go to your herbalist and get a good supply. And most of those things, it depends. Of course, herbal supplements aren't regulated like drugs are. And so you won't be able to tell what kind of a dosage you'll be getting. Depends on the manufacturer, the company that you buy from. So it's really difficult to gauge in that way. But mostly supplements that you do get will have a recommendation on what to take. And so whether it's so many milligrams per day, just follow what that preparation usually says, because it's widely different for how it's prepared. The effectiveness will depend on that. So that's one of the downsides of using herbal preparations. It's not as tightly regulated as the drug medications are.
If somebody just ordered that offline and they were just trying to self-prescribe.
Yeah, with things like St. John's wort, you're actually trying to treat a major symptom, major disease. I would not recommend that you just self-medicate, right? So try to find someone that is knowledgeable about that, a naturopath, an herbalist that would be able to help you, guide you through that. Because, a lot of times we think that herbal preparations are harmless, but they can do harm. So especially like St. John's wort, there have been some symptoms like it increases, for some patients, it will increase your sensitivity to the sun. So you get sunburned more easily. And so you do have to be wary of that. A lot of herbs will increase some of the metabolism of different drugs. So there are drug-herbal interactions that you need to be aware of. So definitely I would recommend, especially for things like depression, major depression, you do need to get someone that is knowledgeable about that on board before you start medicating yourself.
Basically, there's supplements you can take, the super minerals, L-theanine. L-theanine is also in green tea, but it's good to take the actual supplement, 400 milligrams of L-theanine. You can buy it. Suntheanine is the brand. It's a patented one. Very, very good for anxiety. Taurine, it's the amino acid that helps promote GABA production in the brain, and that takes away anxiety. So if you do 4,000 milligrams of taurine, your skin will look beautiful. I mean, it's wonderful. Wrinkles go away. It's a fantastic supplement. If you were to have, when you have anxiety, what you have is you have burnout in your adrenal glands. Okay, so your adrenal glands are burnt out from all that stress you're feeling. And if you were to take vitamin C, taurine, and MSM, these are 3 supplements, and if you take them and go to your adrenal glands first. Your adrenal gland repairs itself from all this stress and helps balance itself by those 3 supplements. So I gave you the easy ones, the super minerals, along with taurine and L-theanine. If that doesn't do the trick, then you add to it for 3 months. You do high dose version of vitamin C, 5,000 milligrams 3 times a day, taurine, 5,000 milligrams 3 times a day, and MSM, 5,000 milligrams 3 times a day. MSM would be a little bit more than a teaspoon. All these doses I just gave you, you have to slowly build up to. That much vitamin C for a lot of people will cause diarrhea, so you got to cut back if it causes diarrhea. That much taurine is not going to have a problem. You start with even a quarter of a teaspoon, which is 1,000 milligrams of MSM 3 times a day. If you get a headache, it's just going to be for a day. Okay, so just know that might be a symptom of the detoxification that's going to occur. MSM, it's a form of sulfur. It's one of the most powerful supplements anybody can take. My 2 favorite supplements, lithium orotate for the brain, MSM for the gut. MSM is cheap, it's powerful. The 2 most healing places on the planet have been lithium springs and sulfur springs. That's it. That's what people relied on. Those 2 things, lithium for the brain, sulfur for the gut, and rebuilding and creating a glutathione in your body, and that purifies your body. That's it. I mean, those are your two basic ones. So if I had no money, I'd be taking lithium orotate and I'd be taking MSM. MSM is, you can't take a lot right away because it kills the bad guys in the gut. It starts supporting detoxification. So you gradually build up to where you can do that 5 milligrams or a teaspoon 3 times a day. It's very bitter. And you get your MSM, 4,000 or 5,000 milligrams 3 times a day, and the vitamin C 3 times a day. When it comes to vitamin C, there's, different vitamin C's are better than others. Typically speaking, you want to get a vitamin C that's bonded with minerals. So it's more alkalized vitamin C. So that's called, instead of ascorbic acid, it's ascorbate acid vitamin C. Or you could do liposomal vitamin C that lasts in your body and it doesn't cause the diarrhea. If you take high doses of it, that's a good form of vitamin C. And there's other vitamin C's that are mixed with things that are really good. But it's for the restoring of your adrenal glands, vitamin C, taurine, and MSM, fantastic. And it takes a little bit of time, your anxiety goes away, but you've already treated the symptom of it by calming your brain. Remember, the gut and brain go together, so you got to deal with the detoxification over time, but this can get immediate results with the 3 suggestions of the lithium orotate super minerals, and the L-theanine and the taurine. My first experience of this firsthand was my younger sister. She started being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease around 58, and she died at 60, a horrible death. They just drugged her up in a home, and they would not give her the supplements that I had suggested for her. Prior to that, before she went to the hospital, I was sending her supplements, but she couldn't remember to take them, and the nurse wasn't giving it to her. So I can't say from firsthand experience I could have saved her. But I know I've helped other people get their memory back and so forth and prevent these types of things. We believe we're preventing it because it's not happening. It's a long term. But Buck Foundation, which deals a lot with schizophrenia, and Buck Foundation, this deals a lot with Alzheimer's disease, has a whole bunch of supplements you can take. In the beginning, before they had the long line, and there are lots, the UCLA did a study with about 80 supplements that would reverse Alzheimer's disease. Now, it could be we can find a much simpler way. And prior to them coming up with this big long list of supplements, they were saying that one nutrient would prevent it. And this is the magic formula. It's lithium. Lithium orotate is a non-toxic form of lithium. And lithium is proven when it gets into the brain to protect neural degeneration. Protect neural degeneration. That means that your brain cells will not die. And not only do they not die, with the dose of lithium every day, you grow more brain cells. Now, Alzheimer's disease is degeneration of brain cells and degeneration of the myelin sheath, the connective tissue, just big empty spots in your brain, as well as not enough white matter, which is the connective tissue in your brain. And everybody, as they're getting older, they lose some of their white matter, which is that connective tissue. And there's things to increase the white matter in the brain. Right now, everybody should be doing lots of grass-fed butter. Lots of grass-fed butter. It has something called K2. Most of the problems in the brain is plaque in the brain. We know that. Everybody has plaque in the brain. The problem with it is too much plaque in the brain and the inability to remove that plaque. So we make the plaque in the brain, but we can't remove it. So how do you remove the brain, the plaque in the brain? What they did is they created tons of drugs. Lots of money went into inhibiting the production of plaque in the brain as if that was going to cure it. Well, it didn't cure it. They found that normal people produce plaque in the brain. It's just their body's able to eliminate that plaque. Why can't people with Alzheimer's get rid of the amyloid plaque in their brain that builds up? Well, all plaque is a combination of calcium in an area, and you basically, to get rid of plaque that builds up, is you've got to get rid of the cause of why the body has the plaque, and that's oxidative stress.
So back to that anti-inflammatory thing, so many of the processes that cause Alzheimer's, that cause cancer, that cause plaque in the arteries. The problem with plaquing in the arteries, coronary arteries, leading to heart attacks, and carotid arteries leading to strokes, the problem has never been cholesterol. So lowering the cholesterol is the wrong thing. It's putting out the fire after the fire is lit. Let's stop the fire. So the fire is inflammation. what we've got to do is stop inflammation. And then cholesterol, we need cholesterol. If you don't have enough cholesterol, your liver will literally make cholesterol. So cholesterol is not the problem. And by lowering your cholesterol too much, you can get aging of the brain, and you can cause your sex hormones to be lowered, because cholesterol is a primary building block, structural block for cells. So we do not want to lower cholesterol too much. What we want to do is stop inflammation. Your natural agents for doing that are curcumin and SAMe, capital S, capital A, capital M, small e, berberine that I've already mentioned. There's a number of great, honokiol, there's a number of great agents for lowering inflammation naturally. And I take all of those every day, because inflammation is a key cause of disease and aging. Blueberry extract, and I eat wild blueberries most every day. Phosphatidylserine is an amazing substance to help prevent brain aging and Alzheimer's. Pregnenolone is another one of those key substances. Vinpocetine, ashwagandha, an Indian Ayurvedic herb, super important.
And then I've actually watched the community kind of be at war with each other. You've got the conventional, and it's the conventional mindset is in favor of supplements here in America, as an example, where we are the biggest supplement taking group of people. When I say we, I'm Australian, but I'm on American wife, I'm on American soil, right? But we are consuming supplements, but in this kind of magic pill fashion. And then the other guys on the dieting side, you know, plant-based, paleo, whatever they're on, they're like, nah, it's just about the diet, it's about the food, it's not about, we don't need anything supplement-wise. And I just feel like they're both missing something because...
I would say they're both wrong.
Yeah.
They're both wrong. That's in my not just my opinion, in my experience working with patients. Both sides of the fence are wrong. Yeah. If you're eating a horrific diet, drinking horrific beverages, sodas, energy drinks, alcohol, these things are all. Every time you're okay, let me give you an example. Imagine a checking account. Okay, you deposit $500 into a checking account. You can use that checking account. It's operational because there's cash in there, right? If you write a $100 check, it's still operational, but it's not operational at the capacity it once had, right? You write another check for $150. Now we're down to half its capacity, but still operational, right? Now we write a check for $300. Uh-oh. We just overdrew the account. Well, in our body, when we abuse ourselves and we misuse our body, okay, we're writing checks. And once we overdraft, we get sick. Okay. Now, when you overdraft, not only do you have to, just like, I don't know any bank that doesn't charge you overdraft fees. All of them do that, and your body will charge you overdraft fees also. Okay. When you have abused and misused yourself to a certain point that your health account's overdrawn, not only do you have to pay back enough to get it operational again, which means everything that you took out plus more, plus you have to pay back all those all those overdraft fees, right? So if you have a chronic illness, you're drinking alcohol, you're drinking sodas, you're drinking energy drinks, even excessively drinking coffee or stimulants and things like that. Those are all checks you're writing out of your account. If you're on top of that eating the standard American diet, just a bad diet in general, you may, if you get some really, really good supplements and you take enough of them, you may be able to offset that. Okay? You'll never get well because you're abusing yourself. Okay, all these eating bad, eating poorly is maybe satisfaction, may give you some immediate satisfaction, but you're abusing yourself. You're abusing your body. Okay, an occasional alcoholic drink, I don't think there's any problem with that. Even in some cases, there's, I've had people with sleep disorders have a glass of wine every night because that's way less harmful than sleep medications.
And that's comparable to a medicine, right?
Exactly, it's more of a medicine, exactly. Yeah. And so we can do things to offset that, okay? Like the supplements, we can offset that. But if we're doing things that are abusive to our system, supplements can only offset that at best. Yeah. Okay, if we are following a good diet and eating all the right things and doing all those right things, the problem with that is that our soil's deficient of nutrients, and so it doesn't really matter where you grow your food. It's not going to have it won't give you all the nutrition you need.
Did you enjoy this episode? Are you feeling hope? Are you seeing that it's possible? It's possible for you, and it's something that is a clear pathway that if you follow it, you will get results. You will see your life transform. This is cause and effect. The problems that we're facing are due to actual things that we're going through. It's not in our heads. It's not some genetic thing that we're predestined to that we'll never be able to turn around. We have the power. We have the tools. Isn't that liberating? Isn't it amazing? If you can believe that one thing, the world is your oyster, you'll be unstoppable. You'll see what's possible. You'll see the promises that are in store for you. For me, I believe that God has just given us so much in life, and I feel that we are really given the keys from God through these amazing experts that have given their life to studying the natural aspects of medicine and the root causes for the problems that we're experiencing today. And through that key, we can unlock the health that we need to have the life that we long to have with our family, to take care of our spouse, our children, our grandchildren, our friends, our extended family members, to be clear and present with them, to be able to give our lives to mission, to services that are meaningful to us. You need your mind to do that, and I'm here to help you take those steps that you need to have a clear, vivacious mind that is happy and on fire in a good way. It's firing properly, having the spark of life within it because it's fueled with the right things and the toxic triggers that were harming it are uprooted. That's what we're doing in this next chapter. When you take action today and support our mission, you'll be supporting our cause so we can continue getting this message into the world, and you'll be supporting yourself. You'll be having a tool that's in your home library. You can watch, rewatch, send it to your family and friends, get them to check it out. You'll get a free buddy pass, so you'll be able to get an extended pass there so your friend can log in and watch themselves, or you'll get a second printed set of the major portion of the series, so that way you're able to share that precious tool with your loved ones with that double set that you'll be given. These are some of the amazing tools. You'll be able to ask your questions live on our live question and answer calls so you can get help as you go through the protocol for depression, anxiety, and neurodegenerative diseases. We're going to be diving deep in this 6-module course, and each week you'll be live on our calls, and you can look at the schedule that we have. Just click the link below and you can see we have a limited time offer. Please don't miss out on that. We're really giving away this really special discount because we want to reward people for taking action on their health, and we want to make it possible for everyone. And when you take action, you're supporting us to keep going, keep spreading this message of love, of healing, of truth into the world to help save and change lives forever. And you are a part of that. When you take action, you're actually helping other people. And I'm not kidding you, just in the same way you received this, we were able to give this to you for free. Many, many more people. Hundreds of thousands, even millions of people that have not yet seen this. And maybe one day we'll even reach billions of people. We'll see lives changed. We'll see people that have given up hope. We'll see all the people that would have committed suicide, but because they applied this knowledge and truth that they've learned in this series, their lives will change forever. And it's because of people like you that choose to support this, choose to get behind people that are out there, whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, getting behind people that are doing good work, that makes sense, that helps to heal. So get behind people that you trust and you like their mission, because that's the only way we're going to be able to change this world. If you believe in what my wife and I are doing, help us continue. Help us continue to get this message to other people that need it desperately. Help us to help heal the heart and mind of a suffering world by giving tools that help us be our best selves, and let us shine our light at the beauty of who you are, the beauty of who this world is made up of. Wonderful, creative, intelligent, loving individuals that are so often impeded by so many struggles that we don't understand. And it leads us to be often our worst selves. And it's got to stop. The judgment's got to stop. The judgment that we have over ourselves, the judgment we have over others, it's got to stop, and we've got to heal. Let's commit our lives to healing. Be a part of that mission. Help us to get this mission, to heal more lives. Take action on your own healing journey. Be your best self. Don't sell yourself short. Never sell yourself short in life. Be your very best self. Protect your heart, protect your mind. And the Bible has an incredible verse on this. It says, protect and guard the heart. Guard the heart, for out of it spring all the issues of life. Now, the heart is really deeply connected to the gut and the mind. And when you speak about, I give you my heart, it's actually talking about giving the deepest part of ourselves. And all of our thinking comes from our gut function and from our brain function. So protect, guard your heart, guard your body, guard your brain, your gut, by doing the right things for your health. And take action. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. Click the link below to learn more about what we're doing to help support you, and I'll see you really soon.